Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hain. First and foremost, yesterday when I was going after Trump and MAGA, I said something insulting to boomers on a whole. I made a hasty generalization when in fact I was referring to the MAGA brand of boomers. I realized that obviously not all of you think that way, and that was a stupid generalization to make. So again, my sincere apologies to any of our cool, decent, and progressive minded boomer audience out there that I may have offended. I ensure I will not do so again. So, again, my apologies. Moving on to today's topic, JD Vance. JD Vance has proven to be Trump's greatest mistake since growing that thing on his head. He has been disastrous, okay? As you can see, the crowds he's attracting here. I believe more people have showed up to an event in which Bill Cosby has been the bartender. Anyway, besides JD Couchboy Vance just being a overall bland, empty vessel of a human being, he's also pretty awful. He is a far-right fringe lunatic and basically a arbiter of Project 2025, close friends with the president of the Heritage Foundation. He, in fact, I believe, launched Tim Walz, brought him into our living rooms, which was actually the only good thing JD did, excuse me, is he gave us Tim Walz because Tim Walz would go on to brutally mock him for his childless cat lady comment. Anyhow, JD has been digging himself so deep he can actually see China, and he has been relentlessly and foolishly going after Tim Walz's military record. He continued to do so today at an event in Kensington. Let's take a look. Kensington, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at that.
Guys, it's great to be here. It's great to be part of VFW Post 92. I've actually got the card right here in my pocket. I'm officially a member, so this is not the last time you're going to see me.
Dude, did you just take out a card showing your military background? Like you just keep that on you at all times? Ralph Wiggum over here. I'm in the military. What? Who does that? I thought you would sooner, keep a photo of you in drag. I think you would keep that in your pocket at all times. Actually, doesn't this pathetic attempt at overcompensating remind you of a little somebody else who tried to run for Senate in the state of Georgia as a MAGA Republican?
One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police.
Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on,
I
gentlemen.
have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr.
Pastor,
Walker, Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker,
When he
Mr.
said a
Walker,
problem with
excuse
the
me,
truth-
Mr. Walker,
when he
please,
said a problem
out of
with the truth,
respect, I
is
need
here.
to let you know, Mr.
Yes.
Walker, you are very well
Yes.
aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Yes.
That is not allowed, sir. I
Yes.
ask you to put that prop away.
Well, it's not a problem. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never worked with law
It is considered
enforcement.
a prop, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you aware of the
he
rules?
brought up the truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that
Yes.
prop away.
See, what I like to do is I like to keep this badge nice and handy, in case any of my exes show up and I ask for child support. I could just show this badge and they think I'm an officer of the law. Do you remember him? Wow, we really dodged a bullet there. Couchboy Vance continued to embarrass himself by launching more baseless and outright fallacious attacks on Governor Tim Walz's military record. Let's take a look at that.
Tim Walz claimed to be a command sergeant major, even had it printed on his challenge coins, and he knew he never achieved that rank.
Okay, first of all, this was you at 17, Couchboy. This was Governor Walz at 17. And weren't you like a secretary sitting in an air conditioning room? Wasn't that you, JD? No actual combat? Not to dismiss that, but if you're going to go after Tim Walz, we're going to go after you. And there's also a letter from a public affairs manager for the National Guard, which basically completely vindicates Tim Walz and supports his military service. Let's look at that. Walz held multiple positions within field artillery, such as firing battery chief, operations sergeant, first sergeant, and culminated his career serving as the command sergeant major for the battalion, said Lieutenant Colonel Kristen Augie, a public affairs officer with the Minnesota National Guard. He retired as a master sergeant in 2005 for benefit purposes because he did not complete additional coursework at the U.S. Army Sergeant's Major Academy.
For the timeline, they told us Walz retired in May 2005. Walz's unit, the 125 Field Artillery Battalion, received an alert order 2 months later, in July 2005, and their mobilization order came in August 2005.
He did his duty.
Others who served with Walz defend him. Joseph Eustace, a 32-year Guard member, told us he spoke with Walz before he retired and didn't feel he did anything wrong.
I wouldn't vote for him. But this isn't about voting for him. It's about being honest about his service. And he did his service as well as anyone did.
Let's see. The presidential nominee is a draft-dodging criminal, fascist, senile psycho who not only never served, no one in his family ever served, but continuously levels attacks on veterans, most notably when he went after the late Senator John McCain. Was reportedly told that he called them suckers and losers. But oh yes, JD, please go after a man who actually served. Yes, let's see how that works for you. You know what this seems eerily similar to? All of these pointless and absolutely horrendously baseless attacks on Tim Walz's record. Kind of seems like in 2004 when the Bush campaign was going after then Senator John Kerry, who was the Democratic presidential nominee at the time. Remember that? It was the Swift Boat Veterans for Truth. Well, let me refresh your memory. Here's a little look at how that was and how it's eerily similar to now.
Even before Jane Fonda went to Hanoi to meet with the enemy and mock America, John Kerry secretly met with enemy leaders in Paris, though we were still at war and Americans were being held in North Vietnamese prison camps. Then he returned and accused American troops of committing war crimes on a daily basis. Eventually, Jane Fonda apologized for her activities, but John Kerry refuses to. In a time of war, can America trust a man who betrayed his country? Swift Boat Veterans for Truth is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Well, I'm Michael Hain. This is Really American. If you like our content, please hit that subscribe button. Talk to you later.